I know what they're trying to do, Skip. They're gonna say, well, now we have somebody that can challenge LeBron. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So instead of losing 4-1, you lose 4-2. You might win 2 or 3 more games. But really, do you actually think Gordon Hayward is the piece that's gonna put you over the Cavs? And in process of signing him, guess what you're gonna have to do, Skip? You're probably gonna have to say goodbye to Jay Crowder. You're probably gonna have to say goodbye to Marcus Smart.
You might.
Olynyk, Jerebko. So all the depth that you once had that you can throw at people, that's gonna be gone. But this is what's gonna be very, very interesting moving forward. Avery Bradley and Isiah Thomas are free agents next year. And guess what they're gonna want, Skip? Isiah Thomas is gonna want a max contract. Avery Bradley is gonna want a max contract. Now we're gonna talk about this later. Otto Porter. They say Otto Porter just got $104, $5, $6, $7 million. Isiah Thomas said, I need me like 180, 200.
Yep.
So it's gonna be very interesting, Skip. But I am a little surprised.
So for once, I agree with every point you just made. But what should be your bottom line conclusion to everything you just said? It should be that Gordon Hayward just made a big mistake.
Okay.
It should be that Gordon Hayward will ultimately long-term regret the decision he just made.
Okay.
Because I'm with you. I was surprised. I was shocked that he chose Boston. Now, I was also impressed for one reason. He showed some guts and some backbone and some fearless desire to take on the king and go win a ring.
What
right?
about the waffling, though, Skip? I mean, one they said he was going, and then all of a sudden, hold your horses. He's undecided.
I think he just wanted to write for the Players Tribune, and so he wanted to wait on the release of the decision.
And plus, it got out before he had an opportunity to tell the Jazz.
But it sounded like he had already made the choice.
Yes.
Okay, so to me, he made the quote-unquote right decision for the wrong reason.
Okay.
Again, is it an easier path to the finals through the East? Obviously it is, now that Jimmy Butler's gone and Paul George is gone and Paul Millsap is gone, all to the West.
Yep.
And you look, I'm sure as they did, as Brad Stevens was probably his college coach at Butler was telling him, look at what happened to LeBron down the stretch. They went, as I kept telling you, 23-23 did the Cleveland Cavaliers over their last 46 games, which allowed Boston to vault all the way up to 51-31 and win the #1 seed in the East without Gordon Hayward. So I'm sure Ainge, Brad Stevens are selling him on, you're the missing link, man. You're the final piece to the championship puzzle. Really? So you just walked away from, guess what, in Utah? $45 million you left on the table in Utah. Was Utah a comfort zone for Gordon Hayward?
Yes.
Because it's the 5th smallest media market in the NBA, and it feels even smaller than that to me.
It really does.
It feels like the bottom, right?
Right.
New Orleans is the smallest media market. But the point is, it's out of sight, out of mind. You are a big fish in a very small pond. You finally had a breakout season, but it took you 7 NBA seasons to have that one 22-5 season.
Correct.
He only had 5 rebounds a game, which is not like Kevin Love numbers.
Right.
And I told you yesterday, as great a season as he had in Utah for a team that jumped out and they went 51-31. I'm sorry, Boston was 53-29, but Utah was 51-31, which was for them a breakout year.
Yeah.
So again, they're stuck in the West. Are they ever going to win? They're not going to win the West, but they were the 5 seed and they were almost the 4 seed because they were tied with the Clippers and barely lost it on the tiebreaker. And yet, I told you yesterday that Gordon Hayward, to my eye, is not the player any of the Eastern All-Stars were from last year. I wouldn't take him over one of the East All-Stars last year, and that included, obviously, George and Butler and Millsap.
Yeah.
Not one.
No.
I wouldn't take him over Kevin Love right now. Would you?
No.
I think
no.
it's close, but I'm going
No,
Kevin Love.
I would definitely take Kevin Love over
Right?
Gordon Hayward. Yes.
Okay, so I wouldn't take him over any of the Eastern Conference All-Stars, and yet he will now be viewed by way too many of the Celtic fans, and I can't condemn them for this because they've been starved for a long time. But you know what they're going to see? Larry Bird's going to walk through that door, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's Larry. They're going to have delusions of grandeur again because here's a white player who had a very good year, not a Larry Bird year.
Yeah.
But Gordon Hayward, to me, and we talked about this yesterday, is as far from Larry Bird as we are right now sitting in Los Angeles from French Lick, Indiana, where Larry Bird grew up. That's how far he is away from being Larry Bird.